Hello everyone, welcome back to Ansarkari. In today's newspaper session, we will be discussing the important articles from the newspaper of 24 September 2024. So, Anurag Kumara Dissanyake's election is a rejection of politics. As usual in Sri Lanka, Delhi must continue to build on ties. So again, why is it that they are terming these elections as rejection of politics? And how Delhi can continue to build on such ties with the important neighbors such as Maldives and Sri Lanka, who can help them maintain security in the Indo-Pacific region and majorly in the Indian Ocean as well, so as to prevent the dominance of China, over dominance of China in the region. So Sri Lanka has elected an outsider from a Marxist-Leninist party that once led violent insurrections as its president. So again, this party that is Janata Vimukti Peramuna, it has become more mainstream with the social democratic agenda. Now the victory of NPP, that is National People Power Coalition, of which JVP is a major constituent. It did not take India by surprise, and he visited India in February and met External Affairs Minister S. J. Shankar and even National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. So Delhi has a sense of anti-incumbency mood in Sri Lanka. जो major political change हुआ है currently, it will still present challenges several. और जो JVP's opposition है to the 13th amendment of the Sri Lanka's constitution, वो provide करता है for devolution of power to the Tamil minority, as well as talk on the campaign trial of cancelling the Adani Group's wind power project. तो ये एक issue हो सकता है of contention between the countries.
So यहाँ पे we are seeing that he has the ideas which are supporting again the Marxist and Leninist ideas and ideology. So coming off strong leftist ideas in Sri Lanka क्या हो सकता है? तो firstly it would we can say कि क्या होता है leftist idea more protectionism एंड लेबर राइट्स की और बात हो जाएगी या फिर बोलेंगे एम्प्लॉयमेंट क्रिएशन में जैसे अभी बोला कि मेजोरिटेरियनिज्म या फिर जो मेजोरिटीज हैं उनको ज्यादा प्रायोरिटी दी जाएगी लाइक यहाँ पे हम देख ही रहे कि दे ऑलरेडी अपोज द 13th अमेंडमेंट तो जो श्रीलंकन तमिल्स हैं उनकी राइट्स प्रोटेक्शन में वी कैन से कि चैलेंजेस या कंसर्न से बढ़ हो जाएंगे पे कुछ एरियाज है जहाँ पे हम देख सकते हैं कि दैट्स हाउ मोर स्ट्रॉन्ग लेफ्टिस्ट आइडियाज would be coming to picture. And for India, again, main concern is going to be how India is going to maintain strong ties because if Chinese ties they are getting strengthened, then one of the major concerns would be again firstly direct presence of China. China says कि जब उनके research vessels आते हैं श्रीलंका में तो it is merely for the research purposes. तो उससे related इंडिया के concerns हैं and USA has also reflected concerns on similar lines. Then श्रीलंका इंडिया को कितना debt own करता है और debt repayment plan में भी there shouldn't be any default. तो एक ये हमारा कंसर्न है फाइनेंशियल कंसर्न और अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस जो अडानी प्रोजेक्ट है वो आप मेंशन कर चुके हो और कुछ कंसर्न्स जैसे हम फिशरमैन रिलेटेड इश्यूज की बात करते हैं तो वहां पे वी कैन से अगेन मोर challenges might emerge in those areas the safety of the Indian fisher community.
Hmm. Now, Maldives model in Lanka. So, how India can track the relation and the strategies by which it dealt with Maldives? Can they be used to be applied in Sri Lanka as well? The result of recent polls in Sri Lanka is another reason for India to draw up a South Asia policy. So when we talk about Act East and even multilateralism and even cordial relations with the West, तो उसी के साथ साथ और ज़्यादा important हो जाता है due to this rising insecurities within the South Asian region. Okay, India needs to draw a specific model or a specific foreign policy which is personalized to the South Asian needs. Just again, this here it is mainly focusing upon the party's perspective. So, India hai, it cannot afford prolonged political turmoil and economic disruption in its southern periphery. So, the responsibility hai office ki about being more sober and realistic approach from the new government in Colombo. तो ये मेंटेन करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है जैसे कि अगेन सिमिलरली इंडिया का जो अडानी ग्रुप है इन द नदर्न श्रीलंका तो major project and other things that we just now mentioned regarding the fishermen concern further though further जो majority के जो rights है उनको ज्यादा prefer करा जाएगा majoritarianism and the Tamilians they won't be preferred much or we also read regarding the Kutch Thibu dispute that recently was undergoing between India and Sri Lanka and also as just now mentioned regarding the debt concern. तुम
और इसमें लाइक वी हैव दी सिक्योरिटी कॉन्क्लेव, तो उसमें इंडिया, श्रीलंका, मालदीव्स, दे आर द मेंबर्स. सो उसकी एफिकेसी, उसकी फंक्शनिंग के ऊपर क्या इम्पैक्ट आएगा इफ यू आर सीइंग कि बायलेटरली चाइना इज ट्राइंग कि श्रीलंका में अपनी प्रेजेंस इंक्रीज करने की कोशिश करी जा रही है थ्रू इट्स अगेन चेकबुक डिप्लोमेसी एंड इवन विद मालदीव्स. सो हाउ वी कैन इंश्योर कि सिक्योरिटी कॉन्क्लेव उसकी एफिकेसी बनी रहे. देन वी कैन से कि अगेन साउथ एशियन पॉलिसी की अगर यहाँ बात हो रही है तो ब्लू इकोनॉमी एंड इंटीग्रेशन, जैसे इंडिया सेज कि वी आर द नेट सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइडर इन द इंडो पैसिफिक रीजन, या पर्टिकुलरली अगर हम इंडियन ओशन की बात करते हैं. सो दैट इज वन वन एरिया वेयर वी कैन स्ट्रेंथन आवर कोऑपरेशन. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस बीबीआई एंड बे ऑफ बंगाल, सॉरी बीबीआई नहीं, यहाँ पे हम बिम्स्टेक की बात कर सकते हैं, बे ऑफ बंगाल इनिशिएटिव फॉर मल्टी सेक्टोरल टेक्निकल एंड इकोनॉमिक कॉपरेशन. सो हेयर मालदीव्स ऑल्दो member DA, but Sri Lanka is a member of BIMSTEC. So we can strengthen revival and like periodic summits होने चाहिए BIMSTEC के, and we know that this is one of the major potential areas where when we can also say कि major scope of even trade also exist. So that needs to be the focus of again India South Asia policy. और यहाँ लिख के जैसे there should be a tendency to consider our policies towards each of our neighbors as independent variables. So क्या हमारी जो neighborhood first policy है उसमें हमें कुछ और changes करने की जरूरत है, given how the domestic politics has been reshaping. बांग्लादेश का ही केस देख लेते हैं तो वहां पे भी we are seeing कि domestically things have changed a lot. And even in Nepal, we saw recently there were elections. So these can be some of the areas.
Hmm. Further again, weighing in on business as usual with China. So from strategic security and economic angles, India would do well to take a differentiated policy towards economic relations with China. तो जब हम ऑब्जेक्टिव्स की बात करते हैं ऑफ द फॉरेन पॉलिसी ऑफ इंडिया तो उसमें अगेन जो इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट है वो टॉप मोस्ट रोल कॉन्स्टिट्यूट करता है among the major objectives apart from the autonomy in decision making etc. So here again this is regarding the economic commentary कि जो national security situation है apart from despite this जो इकोनॉमिक सर्वे 2024 का it has favored India plugging itself into China's supply chains through the Chinese investments in India rather than importing from China. So this again is a view this scheme helps so we can further improve the current infrastructure and जो capital investment हो रहे हैं in India rather than importing and again facing the condition of trade deficit जो currently भी India face करता है बहुत ज़्यादा especially with China in regard to the electronics that are imported. तो again China also demanded a few things here कि level playing field होनी चाहिए for the Chinese companies. Facilitation होना चाहिए visas का resumption of direct flights and permitting the Chinese journalists to be stationed in India. तो better accommodation is required here. जो इंडिया का ट्रेड डेफिसिट है विद चाइना इट एक्सीडेड $105 billion in 2023 और जो एक्सपोर्ट्स है वो डिक्लाइन हो गए तो अगेन डी रिस्किंग एंड डाइवर्सिफाइंग these can be the keywords here. And when we talk
So we
about
okay, you can complete.
and when we talk about the security, so we can also discuss about the Panchsheel principle, which again focuses upon the aspects of de-escalation in case of border areas में we can prevent such instances. Because Panchsheel में again we focus upon a cooperation, but sometimes the other country might not follow it. तो इसलिए land को protect करना भी बहुत ज़्यादा important हो जाता है.
So we can talk about here the doctrine of peaceful coexistence which India follows. We were discussing yesterday in the context of India's foreign policy. So in the context of Sri Lanka, just we recently saw there was a dispute related to the Kachativu Islands. So one resolution of that and recognition of again the exclusive economic zone rights, that is one of the ways of peaceful coexistence. Then with Bangladesh, we saw the Beriberi reunion case was one thing that is also signifying the same thing that uh, it was transferred, the some of the territories they were ceded back to the eastern Pakistan जैसे Bangladesh was formerly known as. So ये भी एक example हो सकता है. And then in the context of Pakistan also, yesterday we were discussing कि जो Pakistan occupied Kashmir hai. Once that issue went to United Nations, then India we maintained the ceasefire as it was agreed at the UN. So respecting all those agreements, and even we are having land boundary agreement with Bangladesh as well. So China के साथ भी same case, that recognition of Tibet by India, that is also one of the ways of maintaining peaceful coexistence. So India has its own, again, we our priority is maintaining our national interest, but not at the cost of again our sovereignty at the same time. जब China बोलता है कि it has rights over certain territories in Arunachal Pradesh, recently they launched another map, but again it was leading to violation of India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. So even that was not recognized. So that we can say that India has a balanced and the the stand which is respecting our national interest.
Further reform of global institutions must for development. मोदी तो जो इंडिया का स्टैंड है विद रिगार्ड टू फॉलोइंग द ग्लोबल पीस तो उसमें यूएन चार्टर और जो यूएनएससी एक्सेट्रा जो अलाइड बॉडीज है इन सबके प्रिंसिपल्स को आइडियल्स को फॉलो करना दैट इंडिया हैज बीन स्टिकिंग टू सिंस वेरी लॉन्ग बट अगेन देर आर ऑल्सो petitions फॉर रिफॉर्म ताकि जो स्ट्रक्चर है और मैंडेट है ऑफ सच बॉडीज इट बिकम्स मोर इक्विटेबल एंड egalitarian be it in the economic terms या फिर even in the terms of representation कि what are the rights and how they can pose it. तो अगर हम यूएनएससी की बात करते हैं मेजरली तो यूएनएससी हैज 15 मेंबर्स तो permanent members are again China, France, Russia, UK and US which have the veto power और जो नॉन परमानेंट मेंबर्स है जो 10 मेंबर्स है वो 2 year टर्म के लिए इलेक्ट होता है by the General Assembly itself. एंड मैंडेट की बात करते हैं ऑफ द इंटरनेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन सच एज यूएनएससी, तो अगेन मेंटेनिंग इंटरनेशनल पीस एंड सिक्योरिटी, पीस कीपिंग ऑपरेशंस, काउंटर टेररिज्म, डिसआर्ममेंट एंड नॉन प्रोलिफरेशन, फिर सैंक्शंस और क्राइसिस मैनेजमेंट। तो यहाँ पे कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीज आ जाती है। एंड रिफॉर्म प्रपोजल्स मेजरली इसलिए हैं क्योंकि इसका जो स्ट्रक्चर है बहुत ज्यादा आउटडेटेड हो गया। इट वाज क्रिएटेड पोस्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर टू। Now again, with the growing of importance of multilateralism and even non-alignment for that matter, तो उसकी वजह से there must be changes, revamping of the structure of UNSC। और ये proposal सिर्फ इंडिया ने ही नहीं दिया है, it has also been given by Germany, Brazil and Japan, which are now known as G4, for the possible attainance of the veto power। बिकॉज अगेन और ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट क्यों जाता है, बिकॉज अदर कंट्रीज इन एशिया एंड इवन अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज दे लुक अप टू इंडिया, बीट फॉर इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड रिप्रेजेंटेशन। Next 40,000 kilometers in 8 months, two women Navy officers to set sail around the globe. So on October 2, two women officers of the Indian Navy, they will embark on grueling sailing expedition around the globe that will see them navigating around 21,600 nautical miles over 8 months, braving high seas, extreme weather conditions, and three great capes. तो कौन से केप्स है? केप ऑफ ल्यूविन, केप हॉर्न एंड केप ऑफ गुड होप। तो गुड होप अगेन इज इन साउथ अफ्रीका।
And Cape of Leuven is around Australia.
So this is more of like signifying a kind of potential and capability। ये जो मिशन है इसकी इम्पोर्टेंस एंड इवन women empowerment we can mention कि कैसे through such ways and means we can further have such symbolic representations as well।
And Cape of Horn is around Chile. So we can remember them. Cape of Good Hope, we often talk about this. South of South Africa.
The disconnected citizen. The recent communal tensions in Himachal Pradesh point to a deeper predicament। तो जो challenges आते हैं विद इन द स्टेट, इंट्रा स्टेट डिस्प्यूट जो जनरली हमें देखने को मिलता है, बी इट इन मणिपुर और इवन इन लद्दाख जो यूनियन टेरिटरी, तो उसमें भी देवर demanding several aspects and better representation, and now there have been communal tensions in Himachal Pradesh, so they are all majorly revolved around the political and the economic राइट्स ऑफ द इंडिविजुअल्स। तो उसके लिए एक साइकोलॉजिकल स्टेबिलिटी क्रिएट करना, दैट इज द रोल ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, एंड ऑल्सो टू टेक द grievance redressal steps and setting up of committees। These become important for the discussions with the various individuals and various groups, ताकि जो armed rebellions etc हैं they can all be settled down। तो here जो recent flare up है, that was in popular angle against the illegal construction of a mosque in Sanjoli, was not a Hindu-Muslim issue at all. It was merely a manifestation of the anger against the absence of governance. So communities, they were angry about the hundreds of pinpricks that mark their daily lives. And जो religion या फिर जो caste या communal होता है, that just takes shape of it। Concern actually अगर देखा जाए तो it is majorly of some other reason। अब civic bodies की अगर बात करते हैं तो again governance में civic bodies have existed in India since 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments। made local self-government bodies mandatory in states. लेकिन जो ये amendments है, they fail to allocate any subjects to the local self-government. तो जब हम bottom up approach की बात करते हैं, and even the Gandhian approach for this matter, which majorly emphasized on the self-governance ideal. So state governments, which were enjoined by the constitution to devolve power to local bodies, refused to do so. तो इसलिए specific rights देना और specific subjects should be allotted to the self-government bodies so as to enhance their role. एंड जब हम कम्युनल वायलेंस की बात करते हैं तो अगेन यूएपी एक्ट की हम बात कर सकते हैं 1967 फर्दर प्रिवेंशन ऑफ कम्युनल एंड टारगेटेड वायलेंस. दिस इज अ बिल of 2011 and for the National Integration Council that was established in 1961. Next, nearly half of all posts in pollution boards vacant, some for decades. So over 60% vacancies in 11 states, 100% in Sikkim. So Central Pollution Control Board to NGT. So National Green Tribunal, again quasi judicial body है ये, and other bodies are similarly like Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. तो all these major state tribunals की बात कर सकते हैं, central tribunals, they all help in assisting the work of the judiciary. तो यहाँ पे the challenges regarding the existing vacancies. अगेन इवन जो हम आर्कियोलॉजिकल सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया की बात करते हैं तो उसमें भी वी सॉ कि जो आउटसोर्सिंग है दैट वाज बीइंग डन ड्यू टू अगेन लैक ऑफ सफिशिएंट फंड्स and even presence of sufficient workforce. So these challenges they must be catered to.
So CPCB is a statutory body formed under the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974, and the powers have been entrusted according to the Act of Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act. So it is under the Ministry of Environment and Forest.
Next, use of urban solid waste for sustainable highways. तो जब हम बात करते हैं कि reducing the waste and even recycling it, using it for more sustainable waste, तो उसका ये एक एग्जाम्पल है कि
In short, we can say this is an example of circular economy.
circular economy and how we are actually using the urban solid waste or inert materials in the construction of the national highways. So, Manjiri, what can be the issues in this?
Issues can be again, firstly, the manner of procurement can be one of the ways that how it will be properly procured. Apart from this, collection of like waste is an again an unorganized sector. So
Hmm.
segregation of waste needs to be done because every kind of waste cannot be reused or it cannot be recycled. So that segregation would be one of the main challenging area in this thing.
Hmm.
And again, using it is not going to be so easy and so direct that it as it appears like we are saying that reusing it in the construction of national highways. So do we need any another change in technology, or we need to do proper again scientific and evidence-based assessment also, that there shouldn't be any another like any kind of repercussions on the quality of national highways that would be made. So how it is going to impact the life and the sustainability of the roads. That can be another thing.
Hmm.
So यहाँ example लिखा है that it will be used the inert waste, inert material and construction of the embankments in two pilot projects, DND Sona, Mumbai Express, Delhi Mumbai Expressway and Ahmedabad Dholera Expressway. So inert material use किया जाएगा, which will not be reacting.
A major components of solid waste is inert soil, जो कि बायोरेमेडिएशन एंड बायो माइनिंग से क्रिएट होता है. Next is we'll push thermal till 2035, then reverse for net zero. So net zero target, if I'm not wrong, that is till 2070.
Right. 2070.
And India's peak power demand is projected to reach 458 gigawatt by 2032, which again requires thermal power plants. तो currently अगर हम देखते हैं तो अभी जो currently installed capacity of renewables, तो wind power के लिए it is nearly 50 gigawatts, solar power के लिए it is 90, फिर further biomass के लिए 10 है and hydro power project waste to energy इन सब के लिए again subsequently lesser we have. तो highest is of solar power currently, उसके बाद wind है. और 2030 तक एम था of achieving again 500 gigawatts of renewable energy installed capacity.
So here we are seeing that there's a need to safeguard our power infrastructure as well. Power infrastructure from internal and external cyber security threats, which are aimed at weakening the security. So power grid lines, they are considered to be part of the critical infrastructure. So here recently we have seen that the Power Ministry's new computer security incident response team facility has been inaugurated in order to again ensure the safety from the cyber attacks. And even another challenge or another risk is, we've talked this in the context of magnetic storms, which emerge from the solar mass ejections and which are also associated with the formation of Van Allen radiation belt around the Earth because of the magnetosphere. So even that can have a critical damaging impact on our power lines.
Hmm. Next, how to enable transit oriented development. So the transport infrastructure that is a prime driver of economic activity. Again, because the connectivity है वो बहुत ज़्यादा boost होती है, logistics cost it gets reduced. As a case study of Bengaluru shows, improving accessibility to jobs through safe and efficient transport modes. तो ये जो workforce की productivity है, it can enhance it. So again, National Transit Oriented Development Policy and Metro Rail Policy. So they were approved in 2017. तो key urban planning and growth management strategy है ये. तो public policy और जो land market conditions होती हैं वही ड्राइव करती है द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक सेंटर्स इन द सबअर्बन एरियाज. तो लॉन्गर वर्क होम कम्यूट्स और जो कंजेशन या पोल्यूशन होता है फ्रॉम द प्राइवेट व्हीकलर यूज वो हैम्पर करता है एक्सेस टू जॉब्स, लेबर मार्केट्स, प्रोडक्टिविटी और लिवेबिलिटी को भी. तो इसलिए एक तो टाइम रिड्यूस करना, फर्दर जो क्वालिटी है ऑफ एयर एंड फर्दर द इन्वायरमेंट उसको और ज्यादा हेल्दी करना.
So transit oriented development जब बोल रहे हैं यहाँ पे, तो we can say this is one of the factors which will even be determining again the the nature of urbanization, the nature of industries or MNCs that would be set up around these transit oriented regions, where we are seeing that smooth connectivity is one of the factors. And apart from this, यहाँ एक important fact mention है Kempegoda International Airport, which is in Karnataka, and this is a greenfield airport. So it is in Bengaluru.
What is California's new anti-deepfake bill? And can it stop manipulated political ads? तो फर्स्ट जब हम डीप फेक्स की बात करते हैं तो अगेन एआई कंसर्न यहाँ पे आ जाता है एंड ऑल्सो इंडिया में स्पेसिफिकली देर इज नो एक्ट regarding the regulation of such deepfakes and AI. What we are already relying on are the acts like Information Technology Act and also the Digital Personal Data Protection Act. So here this is regarding the anti-deepfake bill of California. The new bills they are again regarding the um, removal of label election related deepfakes during the specific period because again election के time पे और ज़्यादा important हो जाता है to safeguard the integrity of elections ताकि जो individuals है they cannot be influenced via wrong means कि जैसे voice alteration voice overs की जब हम बात करते हैं and even creation of fake videos that can be circulated for disinformation. So, to prevent all such instances, it is important to create such acts for elections. The name क्या क्या है? What is the Defending Democracy from Deepfake Deception Act of 2024?
So we can say that overall regulation of social media becomes very important, because what happens is that a kind of narrative is set on social media. So that has become very easy. So even the threat from artificial intelligence or deep fakes or even cyber attacks, and then selling of data, as we saw in the case of Cambridge Analytica case.
Hmm. This is just regarding sign language. So the number of sign languages which currently exist in the world to 300 plus. Specific eyebrow position include होती है in the American Sign Language. Number of deaf people in the world 70 million. Next, massive Greenland landslide sent seismic waves around Earth for 9 days. तो 25 million cubic meters of ice and rock was splashed कर गई थी in Greenland and it displayed the water enough to rise to 200-meter high. Mega tsunami. तो जो melting glacier led to a planet-wide tremor. तो कैसे जो क्लाइमेट चेंज है एंड जो लैंडस्लाइड है जब हम इफेक्ट्स की बात करते हैं ऑफ वेरियस जियोफिजिकल फिनोमिनास क्या उनके इम्पैक्ट होते हैं तो लैंडस्लाइड का अगेन सीजमिक वेव्स वाया दिस मेल्टिंग ऑफ ग्लेशियर फर्दर कॉजेज मेजरली लैंडस्लाइड के क्या क्या होते हैं रेनफॉल वाटर सैचुरेशन अर्थक्वेक्स वोल्केनिक एक्टिविटी स्लोप इरोजन
और यहाँ मेंशन है जैसे रॉक्स इन द वाटर, जो सब हेडिंग है इसके नीचे मेंशन है फोर्ड। फोर्ड इसको आई थिंक फोर्ड ही प्रोनाउंस करेंगे, FJORD। So ये important fact है geography से, it's a geological structure created when glaciers erode a valley below the, नीचे scroll down रखो,
Hmm.
it erodes a valley below the sea level and the sea water floods it. So we need to remember कि this geological feature is an erosional feature. तो glacial feature है ये. It is frequently feature U-shaped channels that stretch well inland. So can we say that here early warning systems can really help us in terms of better preparation, because we can know about the rate of retreat of glaciers or where the risk exists more. जैसे यहाँ पे लैंडस्लाइड का एक एग्जाम्पल है.
Hmm. Next, number of rhinos slightly increases, but so does threat of poaching. So the rhinoceros population in the world, it has increased slightly, but so have the killings, mostly in South Africa. As poaching fed by huge demand of rhino horns remain a top threat. So there are just 28,000 rhinos left in the world from 5 lakh at the beginning of the 20th century. तो इसके लिए अगेन जो फेक राइनो हॉर्न सर्कुलेशन है, that can be done here. Further poaching के लिए better surveillance that can be applied to the major areas where they are found in abundance. The local villagers there, they can be made more aware regarding this, and they can help in tracking down. For the shops वगैरह जहाँ पे they are actually sold, or even online for that matter, so that can also be tracked upon.
So for example, what are the different types of rhino species? So greater one-horned rhinos are found in India and Nepal. Black rhinos are there in Africa, and even we see that white rhinos are there. So Javan and Sumatran rhinos in Indonesia. So we need to know their IUCN status. So greater one-horned rhinos IUCN status is vulnerable, and they are again protected under the CITES Convention Appendix 1 and Wildlife Protection Act Schedule 1. So habitat is tropical grassland. And Javan and Sumatran rhinos are critically endangered. African black rhino is also critically endangered. African white rhino is near threatened. So we have the National Rhino Conservation Strategy when it comes to protection, and Indian Rhino Vision 2020, which was launched in 2005. So do we have an updated one is another thing. And New Delhi Declaration on Asian Rhinos 2019. So it was again signed by 5 rhino range nations: India, Bhutan, Nepal, Indonesia, and Malaysia. So protected areas where we have the rhino population in India is in the Dudhwa Tiger Reserve in UP, then in Jaldapada and Gorumara National Parks in West Bengal, and then we have in Assam, Pobitora, Orang National Park, Kaziranga National Park, Manas National Park. So one-horned rhinos, it is the largest of all the 5 species of rhinos. So it is identified by a single black horn and gray-brown hide with skin folds.
Hmm. Thank you, Manjari, for adding.